Horror Podcast. I'm Todd, joined by my lovely and talented wife, Becca. It was so easy. Why did I think of that?
I don't know. That's nice.
And we're going to watch every horror movie together, which is why we went to the Monday Mystery Movie yesterday, which is why I'm tired as shit today. And we saw It Ends from 2025. It's directed by Alex Ullom, and this is his first feature film. So this did come out last year on the Letterboxd video store. So it was a VOD release last year because he didn't have a distributor. It's picked up by Neon, I think.
Okay, as soon as you said that, when I had got on Letterboxd after the movie, I was like, this is in my watch list. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I think I saw it on the video store on there.
This was a very spicy mystery movie. I think because of the fact that it was kind of available a year ago and everybody was hoping to see Buddy, including us. That was my guess.
Yeah.
And then come to find out that our local theater actually did play Buddy yesterday, which is stupid. I think that's the problem with the mystery movie is like it creates FOMO like you wouldn't believe. And of course, there's no way to find out what it is unless you have like an insider. So we fucking missed out on Buddy, but hey, we saw this one for the first time and I thought this was great.
Yeah, so. I liked it. It surprised me. I went into this not knowing anything about the movie.
Me neither.
Like I said, apparently I added it on my watch list on Letterboxd, but I don't know. That could have been for multiple reasons.
Well, it was very well received before, and I think this is going to be a very interesting one to talk about.
Okay.
For many reasons. One reason is because, the internet response is kind of spicy.
Is it really?
In some very predictable ways.
Okay. I don't know why I'm surprised anymore.
Yep. I did make sure, I was very careful about what I was reading. Because the other thing that is very fun about this is a movie that is very open to interpretation. And I didn't want to see what other people thought it was about. Because I want to just go in here and say, look, I don't know what the fuck this movie's about. I was the whole time trying to tangle with that in my head, but I have some good ideas. You said you got some ideas too, so we're gonna talk through it. I will say, before we get into anything though, I do think that the synopsis for this movie does it a real disservice.
Really? I didn't even read.
Yeah, it basically, so what I knew about this beforehand was that, and this is spoiler free, this is just the without seeing any trailers or hearing any spoilers, I got the idea that this was some kind of cosmic horror movie that was very existential.
Okay.
The second part is maybe accurate. I don't know how much I would call this a cosmic horror movie.
I think it could toe the line on it, but I wouldn't outright say that's the subgenre.
Let's slow down on that because that's approaching some spoilers. But I think if that's what you're expecting though,
don't expect that.
Don't expect that.
No.
And actually, I'm gonna throw a wild card in here.
Okay.
I'm going right into my chop take. The spoiler free.
Okay.
That's right. I'm changing the rules.
Okay.
Because my chop take for this movie, you don't have to. Is yours spoiler free or is it?
I was checking.
I saw you reading your notes. If it's spoilers, we can save yours.
Nah, we're going to save mine.
We'll save it.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, because I do think this kind of sets up expectations, is I think this is a movie that if you can get down with the themes, it is a movie that is rich with themes. If you can connect with the themes and the existential nature of the movie, I think it's going to really work for you. It really worked for me. I think if you're the kind of person who watches something like this and says, nothing happened, which is my favorite criticism. My absolute favorite.
Oh, there was definitely some of that in the theater.
Oh, I think there was an old man who, when it was over, was like, well, I don't think anything really happened, but okay. It's all right, old fucker, sit down. Apparently you didn't understand anything here. Maybe you should have been paying attention, especially. But yeah, if you're that kind of person, you're probably going to hate it and be super bored. And I've seen a lot of that on the internet. It seems very split, and it really does seem to be between the people who connected with it and the people who were just like, this was boring. So you should know
what? Good for you if you thought it was boring, I guess.
But like, I'm not even gonna hate. I'm gonna say like, you should know which side of this you're on without even seeing the movie, honestly, because it is a slow movie that's very atmospheric. It's very open to interpretation. If you don't get down with that, just don't bother. Just
no,
leave. It'll keep the internet like a much nicer place if you just don't even watch it.
Or you could watch it, but maybe just don't say anything. I don't know.
That's impossible. Fucking impossible. But if you don't know anything about this, the very little I can say, because it is a movie where you are along for the ride, literally and figuratively. So I don't want to like give away anything about that. The setup is you have 4 friends.
Just want to, before we do this.
Oh, are we already the number of friends? Is that a spoiler?
No. I'm just saying, for my personal experience, I went into this completely blind, and I think that really lent to the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm going to be careful.
I just want to say, if you're like me and you don't mind going into a movie blind, I think this movie really shines when you go in blind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But if you need the synopsis, we got that.
Thank you. Can I continue?
I just wanted to voice that.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, it's 4 friends who are in a car. This is like, my favorite kind of movie. The one that's like in this one kind of location with just a few actors who have to really carry the weight of the movie. It's a great one of those because it really does take place mostly in the car.
Yeah, this is, as soon as this movie started, I was like, oh, Todd's gonna love this.
Yeah, you know what I like. But they find themselves on this highway that is never ending, and it's really about uncovering that mystery. I think that's all I'll say about that. Now, as far as like the themes and everything, without getting too much into it, because this is the thing to dig into in the spoiler section, because there's not much to really say about the story. I'll start by saying this. There is a nightmare that I had a while ago. It's like a few years ago.
Okay.
And I've had like similar nightmares to this over time. I think like if I'm going to really open up on here, I think when you are approaching 40, there's a joke about the midlife crisis and all that shit. And I think it's easy to joke about it until you get there and you start experiencing it. And it definitely wasn't like what I was expecting. I think it's just, for me, it felt like my mortality felt real in a way that it never had really before. And I started thinking about that differently. And so the nightmare I had was I was in a car driving down a road in the woods, like very much like this movie. But the road basically started to incline downwards. Like I was driving downhill, and I noticed that the hill was getting like slowly steeper and steeper until it was at the point where the car was just rolling like very fast and I couldn't go backwards. And it just kept getting steeper until I was basically just falling. And I think that kind of summarizes where I was at mentally as far as mortality and the idea that like, look, we're going in one direction through this life. There's no going back. I remembered that nightmare because it resonated with this movie and its themes very well. So take from that what you will without explaining anything else. But I think that sums up a lot of what it's doing. And I have seen people mentioning that this seems to be connected to like the Gen Z experience. It is a young director. I think that's like a very small part of what it's doing. I think it's actually doing something much bigger than that.
I can agree with that.
I think that's actually like diminishing what it's doing.
I don't know if it's diminishing. I do think it lends to the time we're in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally a big part of it, but I think it does so much more. That's kind of all I'll say. I'll put a pin in that until we get to the spoilers. But how are you feeling with this thing?
As soon as the movie started, I was into it. I was kind of like sold. It's no secret. It's not a spoiler that the cinematography is really beautiful. So yeah, that really hooked me in. And the chemistry between the actors also pulled me in and sold me into the story immediately. I felt like I just got into the car with them.
Yeah.
It just felt very natural. So that I think helps, at least for me, it helped me like jump into the story even faster.
Yeah.
So
it was a good time. I was happy with it. Even if it wasn't quite what I expected, I still thought it was pretty powerful. We can just get right into the content warnings, since I guess that's adjacent to what we were just saying.
Mm-hmm.
As far as pure content, this is not a movie that has a lot of gore or violence or anything like that. I wasn't sure where it was going to go with all that, since it was described as being like cosmic horror. It doesn't really do anything with that. It's really just the themes and the existentialism. That's always stuff that's going to hit me pretty hard. And I think it was really effective in this, although I don't want to say too much to like give away where it goes, but I'll just say like it didn't feel especially dreadful or anything like that. What do you think?
I think there's a little bit of dread in there.
Oh, it's a horror movie. There's going to be a little bit.
But also with there's mentions of suicide, and that for me did get me.
Yeah, it's mentioned. Nothing is shown or anything like that.
It's all very metaphorical.
Yeah, you just have to be ready to have your existential mind blown. That's kind of it. So, overall, I think if you're in the mood for something like this, if you can get down with existential horror, I think this is a fantastic one. I think it has extremely strong themes, like I said. But I do think if we're calling it existential horror, it is like capital E existential, lowercase h horror. So that should kind of set your expectations.
I think there were definitely some good horror moments in here, though, especially in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a fun time. And always love a movie like this that's like a very simple setup where you're just kind of wondering the whole time what's happening and where it's going. So it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So do you have anything else before we just get into spoilers?
Nope.
Now let's get into spoilers. So we'll go through the story. I think the story is actually very simple. I can sum it up pretty quickly. It's really, it's like we said, it's the themes and everything that really carry it. And I think we're going to be spending more time just going through like our interpretations of this.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, of course, we're going to tackle our 3 categories. The chop take, which I already gave mine.
Mm-hmm.
Still got to hear yours. We also got to talk about our favorite element and our favorite scene. So, before we get into any of that, I just have to say, it is so obvious to me that 10,000 Rats is so fucking goated and invincible. I don't understand why we were glossing over that shit.
I am glad you said that, because that was my choice too in my head. I was like, obviously 10,000 rats.
Give me the 10,000. Well, you need the birds too.
Yeah.
For the air superiority.
The hawks.
Yeah.
How many was it?
50.
50 hawks, 10,000 rats.
If we have 50 hawks and 10,000, do you know how many rats that is? 10 fucking thousand versus a dude with a rifle and like, 5 girls. That's 6 things that got to be killed. That's
I know.
Nothing.
And also, did we forget about the Black Plague? Like, that was because of rats. So rats have already kind of fucked us up anyway.
They don't even need that.
They don't even need that.
10,000 rats against one per. He'll shoot like 2 of them and then he'll eat his ass. It's ridiculous.
Look,
it's not even a question.
And if they're 10,000 Baltimore rats, you guys are fucked.
Oh, are you fucked?
You're absolutely fucked.
Rats that are the size of dogs, 10,000 of them?
I'm definitely team rat.
Throw in fucking 500 black squirrels from DC. You're done. Anyway, but the story, it's surprisingly simple. It's the 4 friends, and I'm gonna go right ahead. We're gonna fuck the format up this episode. I'm jumping right into my favorite element, because my favorite element is the acting. I think all 4 of these actors do such a great job.
They're so believable.
Yes, they feel so natural, and they feel like such distinct characters, and they're able to carry this, which they have to do since it's just them. And they do. It's amazing.
From the moment the movie came on, it's always just so refreshing seeing people I haven't seen before. I just absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's 4 young, new actors that I haven't seen in anything. They feel like full-rounded people. They're very funny, but they can also really sell the drama. Like I loved how each of them gets the chance to do both of those things, you know, to be really funny, but then to have like very serious moments as well. And they tackle all of it very well.
I completely agree.
What was your favorite element?
My favorite element overall was I kind of have two parts to this.
Okay.
Overall was
Cheating.
the cinematography, not cheating.
Uh-huh.
The cinematography was just absolutely beautiful. The way that they did a lot of the night scenes, and I felt like they captured the time of day so perfectly.
Yeah.
Like it looked believable, as if you were walking through the woods and you'd look up at the sky. And I really appreciated that. I think it really helped set the tone of the movie and add the like forest aspect as a character in the movie itself too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that goes to the cinematography. Like they really sold it. On top of that,
well, I just want to say that's also, it feels like those are the two sides of the coin you need for something like this. Is you need to have actors who can carry the story by themselves, and you need to find ways to shoot this because there's just not much going on. It's a car, it's woods, and that's it. So finding interesting ways to shoot all that and keep it interesting, like they succeeded on both of those counts.
Yes, they did. Speaking of the woods, also when those fucking people came out of the woods.
Wait, is that your favorite scene? Or
no, it's not my favorite scene.
Okay.
That I just need to mention because it was so fucking scary.
Let's hold that.
I mean,
we're about to fly through every single category. Hold on. But yeah, they're in the car. I like the fact that there isn't really much of a setup. Did they ever even explain like where they're going?
I think in the beginning it seemed like they were helping someone move and they were going to go grab something to eat because they had just finished moving. Because
there is a point where they're like, why were we even here to begin with?
Well, they were there for a long time.
Yeah. But they just wind up on this random road through the woods somehow that just stretches on and on.
And I love how it's the GPS that's just leading them into fucking nothingness.
Yeah,
which
how the fuck did they even get here? But really all we get is like, you know, early on, they feel like something's wrong, so they turn around. When they go back, it's the like classic horror thing where suddenly they just run into a dead end from where they just came from, and they discover that if they're standing still, a ton of fucking people just come sprinting out of the woods attacking their car, and specifically it's the car. They're kind of ignoring them, although the one guy gets ripped the fuck up because they're trying to like tear him out of the car. And the whole movie is just them just driving. Like you get little bits where they're trying to like experiment and figure stuff out, but ultimately there really isn't a lot to figure out. I think that's important to say, is like, this isn't a movie where it's not like a Cube movie or something where you're figuring out like all these clues and mysteries. Like that stuff is never really explained. It's just some very little, and there are like little things like when they find the people laying in the woods. Yeah. Never any explanation or anything. It's just, I don't think it's that kind of movie. And you get to see as they each kind of hit a breaking point as they go and drop off. And that's the whole movie. We have now summed up it ends.
Okay, well, I have a favorite scene, but it's in there somewhere. So
all right, want to just get in the favorite scene then?
Yeah. So my favorite scene is in between when they're almost kind of like in the good times part of this trip.
Yeah.
And what was it? Day and Fletcher? Was that his name?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Is it when they were making memes?
Memes.
Yeah.
The memes are so funny.
You laughed out loud during that. Yeah.
It was so funny.
You're so fucking meme brain.
What I appreciated about that though is that it felt so natural. Like
it felt like Gen Z memes.
It didn't feel like it was forced into the movie for a TikTok, which we tend to see a lot.
Well, and it was straight up like, it was somebody who was like, me when the people come running out of the woods.
And the fucking photos with the like super zoom and then the forehead, like I really appreciated that.
I know you did, because I heard you laugh loud as shit at that part. It was like 30 people in the theater who just cracked up. I felt like all the TikTok brains in there. My favorite scene was actually at the very beginning when they first get attacked. Because, like, I'll just say my only criticism that I have for this is, like, I would have liked to see more horror in the movie. Like, I'm fine with not getting, like, clear answers or explanations or anything, but that part early on was so compelling because it felt scary.
Yeah,
it felt scary in a way that I was like, oh shit, I didn't know this was that kind of movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only part in the movie that felt like that for me, was when they first get attacked. And it does a good job of like setting the stakes and making it seem like, yeah, we gotta just fucking move. Like, we can't stop. So I really love that. I would have wished to see like just a little bit more horror thrown in, but that scene was very effective.
I can agree with that. I do wish that there would have been more of that because it did legitimately scare me in the beginning. I was like, oh, fuck. I think I could defend it a little, as in your 20s do kind of feel like that.
Well, you know, that's a good way to segue into, like, let's start talking about our interpretations then. Because it's like I said, the story itself, the narrative is very simple. It's really the meaning behind all the themes and everything. And going back to like that nightmare I described earlier, I do think this is about like, it's about life. It's about like the full progression, because like what really stood out to me, it kind of clicked for me early on once they started finding these little rules about how like, okay, if we stop, we got like a minute and a half before the people just start getting up in the woods and running toward them. That was very creepy. When they would be looking around, you're waiting, and then you'd see like really far away a person coming up. At a certain point, you kind of lose that because people they just kind of get used to it. But that is like, I think that's a huge part of the themes, at least my interpretation, because what clicked for me, it felt like how, you know, something I see online all the time, and I always see it as like a Gen Z thing, but I don't think people understand this is like as old as fucking time. This is like basically modern society in a nutshell, is that at a certain age, once you get out of school and everything, you fall into this rhythm where it's like, oh, so wait, I got to go to work all day. And then when I get home, I got to do errands and chores and all this. And then I get like an hour to just do what I want to do. And I see that pop up all the time on like Reddit and stuff, as people start to come into that recognition as young people.
Yeah.
And it feels like, oh, this sucks. Like, why is it like this? And everybody goes through that. And it felt like this was a kind of personification of that they have to just keep moving forward to the point where it's like just draining every bit of life out of them. And they get these little breaks for a minute and a half where they can like get out and stretch and be silly and scream and do whatever before they got to get right back on the treadmill. It's interesting that, there is the one character, Tyler, who kind of takes charge early on, who seems to be the first one to really break and just be like, what are we doing? Like, how long are we supposed to do this? And it's cool that they show like the number of miles traveled before he hits the breaking point and just has to get out of the car. Is that kind of in line with what you were thinking, or did you have a different interpretation?
I think my interpretation is kind of parallel to what you're saying. I mean, obviously it is about life and the ongoing can't stop like tendencies of life,
which does seem to be getting worse thanks to the internet and the way everyone is connected to everything all the time.
I think there are themes that kind of stopped me in my tracks. One of them was a suicide. So, you know, when Day mentions that she tried to kill herself, as they're like trying to go through the reasons of why they could possibly be going through this hell.
Right.
It did feel heavy, but it also felt nuanced in a way where I feel like Tyler getting off of the road trip early, I felt like that was like for me, felt like a segue into suicide, to where it was like, he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. And he made that decision. Now that also could not be it either, but that's how I took it, probably because when Day had mentioned that in the movie, it kind of like set my mind in it, and I was starting to reflect myself on it. But
I felt like he couldn't take all the pressure anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone has a breaking point.
Yeah. Even though they're going through this terrible, horrible experience, they're with like their chosen family.
Yeah.
And those moments in between each of that where you are laughing, you are having a good time, they were still making memories even though they were in this like purgatory.
Yeah.
For me, as someone who has experienced trauma and mental illness and suicidal thoughts, and this is probably because I've been thinking about this a lot and I didn't expect to be talking about it, but I guess it lines up with it. But I think about how Day had mentioned she was going to kill herself, but even though there was this horrible experience, she still experienced so much joy and love with like the people that she loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you were saying before, like we all go through this. Everybody goes through life. Like it's there. We're all dealing with it. And at the end, well, we really don't know what's there, but we do know at one point we all die. And I think specifically with Gen Z, it seems like there is this like sped up confronting to life because of the way things are.
Oh, yeah.
As millennials, we were getting close to this reality, but they are like born into this reality up front. It fucking sucks. I wish the world wasn't like this, but they have to confront all of these horrible things like immediately as soon as they get here.
It does make me wonder, because the one thing I couldn't totally wrap my head around is like what the people in the woods were meant to symbolize. And I could only see it as like, well, just a representation of like the pressures that they're facing as they're going through this journey.
Yeah. And that's not to say, life is not hard for every other generation or anything. But I do think Gen Z did come into this life in a specific kind of hell.
I don't want to
it's not like millennials didn't experience hell either. We definitely
I don't want to downplay any of it, because then like what's also interesting that resonated with me is that it does feel like early on it is very much about that kind of early stage in your life, especially for this generation. But as it keeps going, it feels like we are speed running through every stage of life at a certain point. Because, it's at some point they notice that when they stop, there's nobody coming after them anymore. And when they do run into people, they're just like laying there, just like, I'm fucking done. Like the look on that dude's face when he looks over is just like, I don't even feel like getting up and running after you. To me, as someone who's older, and I'm not gonna fucking phrase it like that. As someone who is breaking into that like next stage of life, that's a much kinder way of saying it. It does feel like as you get older, things slow down, but they slow down in a way where you're able to recognize even more like the constant doldrum of like repeating this over and over and over. And maybe you start to get a little more breathing room, but you're still just stuck on that fucking treadmill. And I liked how, the one character who winds up being kind of the lead character, James, who I think he's my favorite character. He was fantastic.
He was.
Because early on, he's kind of a dick. Everyone kind of knows this kind of dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's very like nihilistic. Doesn't really take anything too seriously. But he winds up being the one that like, as it goes on, he really locks the fuck in. And it's just like, no, like we're not stopping. And seeing him actually get to the end, it was kind of powerful to me that the way they resolve it, because you're wondering, like, where is this going? Are they just going to fucking drive forever?
I mean, there was one point where I was wondering, are we going to be watching them age? Oh, I
didn't even think about that. How long are they on there?
I don't know if we exactly know the time.
It's over 1 million miles. But I don't know, like, how fast they were driving.
Yeah, I don't know, because they were celebrating that one guy's birthday. There was time passing, but I don't know how that time was measured.
It was probably over a year, we could say.
Yeah.
But when he reaches the end, I mean, it's nothing. It's just a sign that says, like, road ends and a bunch of empty cars piled up. But it's the way that his reaction to that is this kind of acceptance. And then he turns around and goes back, and the first person he finds, he picks him up and starts driving him. And it felt to me very much like the idea of getting into old age peacefully and being able to then foster the next generation, you know, and be someone that they can lean on.
That's very sweet.
That's the message that I got from it. And I do think, like, yeah, that's where we get into, I mentioned earlier that this is way more about the themes than the horror. And it just reiterates my chop take, which was that this is about the themes. If the themes and the existential nature works for you, if you're able to connect with it, that's what makes this so strong. So what was your chop take?
I think this is another breakout for the horror genre. I don't think it was like perfect, but it doesn't need to be either. I feel like I'm always going, especially if I end up enjoying the movie, I'm always going to like give it its flowers, especially when it's a debut for a director, and a young director too. I'm also going to want to rally behind and like, because I'm already excited to see more from this director. I think they did a great job. I think that this movie took really bold chances, and I think it took a lot of guts to take a concept like this and try to execute it. There were parts of me, and it's probably the like, I don't know, internet side of my brain where I lost a little focus in the middle, sort of. But
I think the internet takes up a good chunk of your brain. Yes.
Okay. It's not what I was saying, but I think those like monotonous parts of the movie also lend to the concept.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's by design.
Yeah. And it makes me kind of think of two things. Kind of makes me think of In a Violent Nature, where you have those like long walks. Yeah. And that's important to the character. And it also makes me think of From, the TV show. I thought...
Fuck that show.
Fuck that show. Yeah. Not to spoil From. Maybe you're not going to watch it because Todd just shit all over it. But... There is a part that is similar to this movie where you kind of like get stuck into this loop.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole conceit,
Yeah.
Maybe it's also by design that it does kind of make you feel like you're kind of going through the motions with the characters. And I'm sure that there's a whole generation of people watching who will just shut the movie the fuck out at that point. But maybe that plays into the themes too.
I mean, it felt like it did for me.
Yeah. So yeah, I was happy with that. Not too disappointed that it wasn't Buddy, I guess.
I still really want to see Buddy.
We are seeing Camp Miasma this weekend, so I'm excited about that. But that's all I got. Good times. Yeah?
Yeah, it was a good theater experience, actually, too.
It felt like that theater had the full generational gamut as well.
It really did. It really did.
Young people who were popping off for internet jokes. A lot of old people, though, who seemed very confused.
The woman next to me when the movie started and then Neon production title showed up, she was like, "Oh, I love Neon." And I'm like,
nice.
Yeah. Me too, girl.
Yeah. Already seeing some fucked up stuff on the list right after 50. We just recorded the spoiler-free speedrun. This one's coming out super hot. But we do revisit the list. And so we set the top 50 in like a much better place. I think while I was editing it, there were still things I was looking at like, fuck, kind of want to move this. But I feel pretty good with the top 50. Apparently, right after 50, it already starts to fall apart.
Cool.
But I did put it below The Ugly Stepsister, but above Spider Baby.
That's a weird spot. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And that's number 58 on our list. Make sure you follow us over on Letterboxd at Ghostbeast. You can go to ghostbeast.com for all our links. You can also search for Ghostbeast Pod in most places. You should follow, and you must follow, Lux Fatale to check out Becca's horror artwork. And of course, also a special thanks to The F-Use for all our music. You can check him out at thef-usc.com. And finally, you can contact us at podcast@ghostbeast.com. If we live in Pennsylvania, how the fuck do we get to some of these festivals? Are there any nearby?
We gotta figure that out.
I'm not going to fucking Canada for a film festival. We're not at that point. But if there's anything around Pennsylvania, I'd love to know about it. Bye.